List of big life events, and it's like marriage, birth, new job, big move. And we've all been told that if you have one of these in your life, you shouldn't make any big decisions for a year. All right, so from the ages of 24 to 34, my husband Phil and I had one of those every year, except for the years where we had more than one. And now it's 2002, and we're living in Chicago with our two little girls, and we're finishing up rehabbing our house, which we're going to sell because we're going to move to Maine. And at the same time, I'm dealing with a business partner dispute that has gone south in the worst possible way. And there's a lawsuit, and now there's an arbitration date on the calendar in California a few months out. So I think of 2002 as the big finish, to our decade of upheaval. And I feel like we've come through it pretty well, all things considered. Except for one thing. I've had some weird health issues ever since our first daughter was born 5 years before. And what would happen is I would occasionally break out in hives for no apparent reason, not related to what I ate. But more routinely what was happening is I was getting problems with my joints, where I would have a swollen knuckle, or a toe, or a wrist. Just one thing at a time. It would swell up, get hot, extremely painful for 3 or 4 days, and then it would go away again. And I didn't go to the doctor. I was very busy. But the main reason is because I was raised in a tough it out family. You got a sore finger? Tough it out. Why don't you see if it goes away on its own? And they would go away on their own. And I would think, maybe that's the last time that's going to happen. But it didn't, and it kept happening and just became part of my life. Well, one night we were having dinner with Phil's old college friend, Big John McGee, great name. And everything was fine until I stood up to clear the table, and I was absolutely blinded by the pain in my ankle. Because that's how it happened. These things would just swell up while I'm just sitting there. And John had played rugby at Cornell, so he had hurt every part of his body that a person could possibly hurt. He was our pain specialist. So he comes around and he looks at my ankle and he goes, Jesus, can you tell me what it feels like? And I said, yes, it feels like somebody just hit it with a hammer. And he goes, you should go to the doctor. So I did. And she ran some labs and she sent me to a rheumatologist. And the rheumatologist looked at my blood work and she goes, sorry, you have rheumatism, here's some steroids. And I was leaving her office and I was like, I have a really stressful life. And I've noticed when something particularly irksome happens. About a week later, I get one of these flare-ups. And she goes, no. There's absolutely no correlation between stress and rheumatism. And I was like, okay. I leave her office and I think she would know. So if there's no correlation, then it's not rheumatism. And I went instead to see a naturopath. She ran her own labs. She talks to me a couple times and she goes, okay, I think I've got you figured out. You're under a lot of stress and you have a lot of inflammation in your body. It's coming out in your joints. We need to clear that out. So ironically, I'm going to put you on a diet. I'm like, well, why is that ironic? She goes, diets are stressful. So she puts me on the anti-inflammatory diet from hell. It's all the ones no alcohol, no caffeine, no meat, wheat, soy, dairy, spices, salt, potatoes, tomatoes, and then 2 other typewritten pages of things that are off the table. And she gives me a raft of medicines to take at different times during the day. And I do it. I'm religious about it. I eat my bland rice and fish and veggies, and I am an absolute delight to be around. Well, time has been passing. And now it's Friday, and the arbitration is on Monday. So I head to O'Hare, and I get on a plane. And miraculously, the flight is nearly empty. All of us have our own row. It's incredible. And I settle in across my 3 seats, and in spite of all of the prep I had done for the meetings I'm going to be having and the things that are happening in California, I had not considered that I would be traveling without my children. And it's the first time. And I have this sense of lightness about me, because I only have to take care of myself. I don't have a purse full of snacks and Blue's Clues Band-Aids and little girl emergency You know, it's just my stuff. And I feel great. And so I settle in, and they're showing a movie on the big screen at the front of the plane. Who remembers that? Yeah. They're showing The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. It's great. I love the book. It's got Ashley Judd and Sandra Bullock, and they're all talking with their sassy Southern friends about their lives. And I relax. You know, I relax for the first time in 5 years. And I feel great for about 30 minutes. And then, like a switch, I have a pounding headache. And I don't understand it. I'm just sitting there. And then my stomach goes all queasy. And then my heart starts racing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like checking my lymph nodes, and I don't have a fever. And I come to the conclusion that I've been poisoned. I'm serious. This is what I thought. So I get up to go get help from the flight attendants that are in the back of the plane, and I fall in the aisle because now I'm dizzy. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna die on this plane. And I get back there, and they're just sitting there, and I look up, and I go, my heart. One of them pops up, and she's immediately reading the defibrillator instructions. The other one sits me down in the last row, and she's asking me, like, do you have pressure? Do you have pain? I'm like, I just can't catch my breath. She's like, okay, and she hangs out for a second, then she goes talk to her friend. And while she's gone, I realize that what I would really like to do is cry really hard. So she comes back, and I tell her this, and she's like, go ahead. So I start crying, and I'm crying, and I'm crying. It's like ugly snot crying, you know? She actually gives me wet washcloths. And I'm crying, and I'm in my mind, I'm in this black hole. I don't know what's happening. I'm confused, but crying feels really good, and I'm making this sound that I can't make tonight because it's from the bowels of the earth. It's just coming out, this moan as I cry. And I cry until I cannot cry anymore. And I stop, and I'm like still very confused, and I'm exhausted. And she's now making small talk with me. I'm answering her questions without really thinking about it. I slowly coming back to myself. And we've been talking, like, where do you live? And do you have a family? And I'm answering her questions. And then she goes, where are you from? And oh my God, you guys, that's when I heard it. I heard my own voice, because this entire time, from the minute I got up from watching that movie and ran back to get help, I have been speaking in a southern drawl. Just like that darling Sandra Bullock on the silver screen. My God, I have even used darling expressions that I have never before employed, such as when I said, my heart is fluttering like a trapped butterfly. I said that to her. This lovely woman who just dueled me through my first ever panic attack. Now she'd like to know where I'm from. And I don't think I can say California, because she'll think I'm a liar. So, you know, I lie. And I go, a little bit of all over, I suppose. And then I fled back to my seat. 2 weeks later, I'm back at my naturopath's office, and I tell her this whole incident. And she goes, oh, good, you moved it. I think I know what she means. I'm like that character in The Green Mile who sucks up people's evil, and then he goes, and all the bugs fly out of his mouth, and that's the evil leaving his body. Only for me, it's stress and inflammation. And I think she's probably right, because I'm basically cured after this, and no steroids are ever required. So I'm there, and I'm like, that's great. What happened to my voice? And what she said next is the reason why I get up, and most mornings I go to the shore. And I listen to the birds wake up. And I appreciate the play of light on the water. Because what she said was, well, Meghan, your body was going through something really serious, and your mind is part of your body. So you need to take care of it too. And I thought, well, those are some wise words. Thank you.
I do declare that was me.